Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Jayalakshmi ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. Very good afternoon to one and all. Uh, let's begin this session. This is 2 days national level FDP program on how effectively or the art of writing, thesis. Well, anyone here, scholars pursuing PhD or into writing research papers? You can use your chat box and you can unmute. Anyone here writing PhDs, doing PhDs, registered in the process and into writing research papers for publications into Scopus, UGC journals or any other journals or for books, etc. Anyone among the participants? You can use chat box. Well, seems to be no answer. Anyways, yeah. Uh, See, research. I think you started exploring since yesterday's session about what is research and how it is to be conducting, the methodology to be adopted, and how you go about. Now, this today's session will be focused on how to write a thesis work that's called dissertation, which is probably submitted to the universities, to the colleges, etc., in order to present your personal work and get recognition for the work that you are submitting. The recognition, like PhD, or sometimes it is to fulfill the criteria of, holding a PG. Post graduation program, and even this generation, the research work is introduced even for the undergraduates as well. So, given this scenario, you are supposed to know what is research, how it is conducted, and then finally, how do you narrate the whole report in your words, okay, in your own words. That is, all comprises of research. Yesterday's session must have been focused on what is research, the fundamentals, and then how the methodology is adopted. Now the time comes for you all to know about how the whole report is to be compiled and presented or submitted to the universities, etc. Okay, so here we begin the same with a quote by Albert Zent Yorgi. He says that research is to see what everybody else has seen and think what nobody else has thought. So with this, let's explore how do you compile the work of thesis or called dissertation. See, thesis is basically a compilation of
Excuse me,
the
ma'am.
whole. Hello,
Ma'am, can you present the slides in slideshow mode, ma'am?
sides are on. Are
Yes,
they not
ma'am.
visible?
I want you to present in slideshow mode, ma'am.
Slideshow, yeah, it is. Is it now?
No, ma'am, but it is not being displayed in slideshow mode, ma'am.
What you
It's
can
okay,
see on
ma'am.
the.
You can continue. Ma'am, I can see the slides, ma'am, but not in full screen mode, not in slideshow mode, ma'am.
It's on full screen.
It's not in full screen mode, ma'am. It's not in a slideshow mode.
Okay, but I have kept it to this full screen only from my end. Let me try again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I will stop this and
Yes, ma'am.
share again. Yeah. Is it now full screen?
Sorry, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am. You can continue.
From my end, it is full screen. I don't know what is wrong.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, Adam, the PPT is moving.
It's ma'am. The slides are moving, ma'am.
Is it moving? Yeah.
Ma'am, are you changing the slides now, ma'am?
Now it is on thesis page.
No, but we can see the first page, ma'am.
No, I have moved to the next slide. Is there any
Yeah, now it
network?
is moving, ma'am. Now it is moving, ma'am.
Now it is moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it on the
It is in,
thesis page full screen?
yes, ma'am. Not in full screen, ma'am. It is in
Again.
thesis page, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. I can continue, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well, see, yeah, thesis is a piece of a personal work submitted to the universities and the colleges across to fulfill the requirement of conducting, the fulfill of requirement of getting a award or a degree. Okay, it is a piece of defensive piece which has been submitted to the university, and the person who is submitting had to defend the writing or the compilation of the work in the best possible way, positively, for which at the end either the degree is awarded or the PhDs are awarded, right? So in this, the process of conducting a research, you come across so many challenges. There are various nodes at which you have to concentrate on. After everything is done, then the time comes where you have to compile the whole report in a very systematic order, step by step. And this is something which is common for almost all the universities and colleges. How a thesis is supposed to be, slightly at the most 10% differences are found in the format which are to be submitted to the universities and colleges across. Otherwise 90% format is same. Okay, now again, when a person is submitting piece of work to some funding agencies or to some organizations, institutions as well, certain elements are added, otherwise it remains same. And so therefore I'm quoting it somewhere between 5 to 10%, 10 percentage of difference is estimated to be among the in the formats which are recommended by the universities and colleges. Otherwise they are all same. So hence, taking that as a base, how a thesis is supposed to be and how do you present it, how do you compile it, is what you're going to learn in this session. So basically a thesis is a very long piece of writing. It goes into hundreds of pages, and this is all about your original and pure work that one is carrying. So the work which you happen to carry on is your personal original work, pure work, uh, which is away from plagiarism, away of all the copied versions, etc. That's your work which is being developed over a period of time by you. So hence we call it to be original work. And this particular compilation is submitted always at the end of your degree, that is undergrads or postgrads, or say at the end of your PhDs. After you fulfill all the requirement, you end up submitting this thesis. Once we submit the thesis to the universities or to the colleges, they scrutinize it, they send it for reviews, followed by any recommendations from the resource persons, reviewers are communicated to the candidate. In case if any recommendations they had to do incorporate the changes as suggested or recommended, and then resubmit it again. after which a call for thesis presentation is made to the candidate. And finally, whatever work the candidate has done had to present it meaningfully, logically, and in a very sequential order, followed by the award of degree is awarded to the candidate. And all this compilation which you happen to do and then submit it to the university is most popularly referred as thesis or dissertation. All right. Am I audible?
கேட்டாங்களா?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Any gaps or any network problems? I hope so. No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Right. Thank you. And then let's move on to the next. The thesis is basically divided into three to four levels based upon the submissions. As in case, supposing, firstly, the set of pages that a thesis include are put together in are numbered or put together in Roman numbers. The page numbers, like first page, which is a title page, and then followed by the certificate page, the acknowledgement page, the table of content page, index page, etc. Okay, then we have another set which goes with the second set, that is chapterization, urates, etc.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we are not able to see the presentation, ma'am.
Oh my
Now,
God.
now it's visible, ma'am.
Right. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Fine.
So yeah, and since yeah, as it is discussed, dissertation or thesis or say research projects, which is most popular for undergrads and postgrads, they refer it to be research projects. And beyond this, anyone scholars of universities, etc., for submission of the research article and the research work which is carried on for organizations, government, NGOs, etc. We refer it as to be dissertation and thesis. Okay, they go as synonyms. The need, if you look at for making the so-called dissertation and thesis are like sometimes it is for undergrads and postgrads, it's a requirement which one has to fulfill, okay, without which the degrees will be held. Then secondly, learning methodology. Certain times it is about the critical appraisal of data. As an individual, as a candidate, employer, or an professor, how much you are putting efforts in research. For that purpose also you are into continuously evaluating various research works, performing research, conducting research, and then you are showing how your research work is. So for that purpose as well, you have to continuously look at your research work. So therefore it is related to your appraisals. And then Publication is one again other and another element which gets added to your development of personal profile, which is very much required for any faculty, whichever discipline or domain they belong to. But research is compulsory in the form of publications. It goes. So once we are done with our PhD work, we don't again and again. Otherwise, if anyone is interested in postdoc, they do again. But otherwise, we are continuously into research with the help of publication. So whatever work we do, a piece of work which we refer as research articles are published in various journals, etc., Scopus, etc. And then we have, in order to attract the other bodies and check out with the society in general what their problems are and how those problems can be resolved, research can be taken up, for which the funding agencies will come up to guide you, help you, and assist you in various forms to conduct the research. And they are keen in knowing the results out of the research. So systematically, when one is conducting a research, it can be used in multiple ways. Okay, so in that way also research is required. Now let's move on to how do you start writing a research. Okay, there are few steps which we can discuss into. Those are put up under 10 steps. Okay, so step number 1 is where a candidate chooses a suitable research area, that is the domain, discipline, the subject, topic which one is interested in. The same is proposed to the supervisor, and the supervisor is supposed to is supposed to accept your idea of research. Followed by, you move on to the next step, where what all you require for conducting a research. Okay, that you put up on a paper, that availability, non-availability, etc., and analyze that how best you can conduct a research with the facilities, infrastructures, or resources that you have, or otherwise if you are in need of any additional facilities and infrastructure, that you will be putting up on paper, including the finances, like how much you can bear up to the finance, and then followed by what you're expecting, in the form of grants from various bodies. Can be university at time, can be other organizations, NGOs, or some private companies as well who promote research. So even you can take up those researches. So you have to put up in all these requirements of your research. Then moving on, a candidate is supposed to draft the objective, the aim of research. This all you have learned, you might have learned how to draft objectives, etc., in my methodology, yesterday's session. Okay, research methodology, how to conduct a research, etc. All this is put up on a paper and is being submitted to the committee, where they scrutinize, review, and they call for approval or disapproval. In case if it is not getting approved, for what reason, they quote it so that you can work on those lines and then come back again with a new proposal, with a revised proposal or a new proposal, considering the facts what is been disclosed by them, errors or facts that is been disclosed. You can work out on those lines and then get back to them. That is about step 4. And then we move on to the next, is where you actually implement the research. And the step 6 is all about, how you collect the data, you store the data, process them in using our, softwares. You have SPSS, PSPP, and many other inline, which you happen to use it for the purpose of analysis. See, so much work that you are doing so far till step 6, so much of understanding, so much of collecting of data you are doing. And then you move on to step 7, where you structurize the whole material. And then finally, there comes a stage where you have to sit and write, in a methodologically, the complete work which is being compiled by you. And this is the time where you should know how what is the format of thesis, how do you present it, etc. So before you move on, very quickly, you have to ensure that the content is ready, and your language, you are good at your language, ambiguity of the data, presentation. So you have to ensure that all this is correct in their own positions, which will enable you to smoothly start your thesis writing and end up smoothly. If you don't concentrate, focus on these areas beforehand, there comes a point while you are into your journey in writing this thesis, where you get stuck, and going out of the range and learning all this language, editing part, etc., and coming back will become a very hectic, and sometimes people lose interest. So that is where you need to first make yourself ready to write the thesis. And then finally, once you finish writing everything, then the time comes where you have to go for plagiarism check. What is plagiarism check? If you all know, well and good. Otherwise, plagiarism check is a check done by the supervisor and the scholar both. Any of you, from your end, and at the time when you're submitting to the colleges and the universities, also they, get this plagiarism check done from their end. Okay, so as a candidate who is submitting the thesis to the university, you can go to the statistics department or to the private, institutes where plagiarism software is available, where the whole compilation of your is put up, uploaded in the software. It checks your complete work, and finally gives a in terms of percentage results, and that results hold as how much amount of work is being copied and which source you have copied. That all details will be projected by the software with red lines, and there this complete check will be check result will be shown to you in terms of percentages, and as low as 5% plagiarism is excused by the university. As low as 5%. It is not the exact number which I'm quoting. Again, here it differs from one university to another and college to another college to college, the number may change. So as low as it should be 5%. That means of the whole content, 5% is identified to be copied from these sources, which is okay, excused. 95% it should be pure work of the pure work of the researcher. So that is the expectation. So anything beyond 5%, you have to redo your work, check again, show the percentage report, and submit. So this is one pre-check that a scholar does before submitting your thesis. And then finally comes your various disclosures, acknowledgements, copyrights, all these forms you need to fill and then submit it along with your thesis. Okay, again, these are all the various formats which are being provided by the universities and colleges. You don't have to bother about all this. They can be, they will be taking care of all those formats, how it is to be done, etc. Except acknowledgement, something which you as a researcher or the candidate has to write in their own words. All the people across who've been helping directly and indirectly, or to all of them, you're going to acknowledge their help in terms of, direct, indirect interactions, financially, non-financially. Okay, however, you received assistance, all those people you are going to acknowledge and write about them, their help, and how it made a difference. The whole story you're going to acknowledge, write it in the acknowledgement, right? Then the last stage comes where you are ready with your work, and now it is time for you to go for submission or publication. Suppose if it is undergraduate and postgraduate, they go to submit to their colleges. If excuse me, if you are a scholar, you end up going to submit to your universities. If you are already a doctorate, then as I quoted, research articles to for the publications, meant for publications. You're looking for a best reviewed journal, conference, seminars, etc., where you can present this work. Okay, so yeah, now I think by now you are knowing what is dissertation, what is thesis, and as I referred it to be, slightly same, and they are almost like they don't used in the form of synonyms. Okay, so here there are few points at which slight, very thin line of differences appears between dissertation, thesis, and a short term research project. Now, requirement, if you look at, yeah, a dissertation and thesis are required for the scholars to be submitted at the universities, whereas research article or a short term projects are submitted for the institutes that are been funding the current project. Duration, yes, the duration of thesis and dissertation, if you look at that, that is about 3+ years. Whereas short-term projects as low as 6 months to 1 year. Okay, now research methodology, if you look at the sample size makes a difference in this. The sample size can be as big as possible in dissertation and thesis, whereas in short-term research project, the sample size can be quite low as 100 or 150. Again, it depends upon the domain subject which you are choosing. A research outcome, yes, it is outcome oriented research which has been submitted in the form of thesis to the university. And in the short term also, it plays a prominent role. In fact, short-term research projects are taken up only for the purpose of some targeted outcome. They want to see the results out of it. So hence that has been carried out. And hypothesis, if you look at, yes, for undergrads and postgrads may not be suggested, but for a thesis without hypothesis will never be accepted across. So kindly do take care. Hypotheses are required for thesis. And short-term projects, yes, it depends upon the candidate, how willingly they want to adopt it. But as such, there is no mandatory rule. But if it is with hypothesis, that's a tentative statement framed by the researcher, it makes a lot of difference in arriving at conclusion. So hence it is recommended, but not mandatory. And next comes novelty of research. Yes, dissertation, thesis, mostly these are focused on novelty aspect. What is new? Immediately the moment you propose your title, your work, your idea, people ask you, what is it new? Already many are doing. Why you wanted to do? Why are you taking up the same work again? What is the reason? What is new in this? People start asking, bombarding this kind of questions. Whereas short-term research is, it can be, novel research, but most of the times it is observed that in short-term research, it is all about, finding a solution to the existing problem. Okay, so some general aspect in the society is taken and the research is conducted. which can, always cannot always be a novel idea. Can be an existing problem, existing norm, regulation in the society, uh, to which you are criticizing or questioning. And with the help of your research work, you wanted it to prove. With the help of hypothesis, either you prove or disapprove. So hence dissertation and thesis are expected to be novel, whereas in short-term research projects, uh, not necessarily focused on novelty, but yes, the focus here is on the kind of solutions that you bring in. So it is outcome focused research projects. Okay, then comes the last, evaluation and defense. In With respect to dissertation and thesis, excuse me, with respect to dissertation and thesis, if we talk about evaluation and defense, yes, it is very strictly evaluated, and a proper defensive session is conducted before the acceptance of the thesis. Okay, so dissertation and thesis evaluation format is made by the university and across almost all the university, with a difference of, as I've already quoted, 10% to 5 to 10% difference. It is same. So the evaluation happens when a candidate submits the work to the university, after which that has been sent to the reviewers, followed by the reviewers will, recommend certain suggestions or, loopholes. They identify certain things, which can be done, or it can be, submitted again on those lines. So recommendations are suggested to the researcher. So evaluation process for dissertation and thesis remains same. Now, when you compare this with the short-term research projects, here defense is not of that prominence, because here it is to be outcome oriented. So you are taking up a problem for which you are giving a solution. Okay, and that solution is submitted to the concerned authority to take up the immediate action by the agencies which are calling for conducting the research. So this is, outcome oriented research, short term researches, which are usually funded by the ICSSR, many other chemistry based and medical colleges, pharmaceutical colleges, research and development institutes, etc. So that way, dissertation, thesis, and short-term research projects, takes it. And then we move on to the contents of what? Thesis. Okay, thesis consists of certain, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, that it consists of a very systematic compilation where the candidate is supposed to put one after the other in a very recommended order. And that order is what I'm going to project to you all. Number one being front matter. Now, what is front matter? It consists of title page, abstract, etc. And then followed by introduction. Now, what is introduction? Introduction of the study, introduction of the research work that one is carrying. Then you have literature review. Yes,
Vasudha ma'am? Dear participants, Vasudha ma'am will join us soon. She has some network disturbances. We are very sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you all. Vasudha ma'am?
Yeah, I'm here. Back.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
Yes, ma'am.
extremely sorry. There was a network issue. I believe I am continuously presenting and talking. I don't know where I missed. Please let me know where I stopped.
Ma'am, it contains your, that slide, ma'am. It contains.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This slide. You were speaking
Yeah.
about the introduction part, ma'am.
Okay. Introduction. Oh, it's been quite long. Okay. Okay. Fine. So, introduction. The introduction of the subject or the domain the researcher is carrying on should be introduced, followed by literature review. Literature review can be a systematic literature review or a general literature review, whichever you are proposing. The complete compilation, it goes into hundreds pages, more than 100 pages. So immediately after introduction, you will be compiling the literature review, followed by excuse me, methodology is the various tools, techniques to process the data, to organize data, to present the data, to analyze and interpret the data, whatever techniques that you have been to adopt, tools and techniques, all that in detail. Okay, whatever in your journey you have adopted, you are going to present them. Then followed by the results. The results are nothing but the findings. Like in the above level, you are going to show off all these methodology, like how you are processing the data, and then interpreting the data, etc. The same interpretations are used to write the results. Okay, so the researcher here, now it's time for them to write the findings, what they are observing, and then followed by based on the above, that is the results, the discussions happen, which are again connected to objectives and then hypothesis, etc. Discussions by the researcher in their own narration, it happens, followed by conclusion will be given by the researcher. In this conclusion, they will recommend, suggest, sometimes it goes together, conclusions and suggestions, sometimes independently. So that's how you end up writing the one by one, covering all the work into one compilation. So first pages, if you look at it, includes what? Title page. Okay, so title page is the page where certain elements are fixed. Whichever university you grow across India, they are to be submitted in the same manner. As I quoted, 5% differences could be seen in some institutes and universities. Otherwise, they are all same, the same format. And the uniform format, uniform elements that comprises of first page are dissertation title. This dissertation title is nothing but the title which a researcher is conducting, the research work. Okay, whatever title they have proposed or have taken up, study of artificial intelligence, robotics, anything it could be, whatever it is, title, followed by your name, the roll numbers, sometimes hall ticket numbers, etc. will be provided. Department logo, department to which you belong to. Suppose you are into computer science research, so Department of Computer Science, so and so college, followed by. Okay, that's how you are going to present. And then you have degree program. Now, as we mentioned, just now I mentioned that uh, the research work has been made mandatory for undergrads, postgrads, scholars, etc. So hence, your degree, what it is for, and for what is it fulfillment, that in detail you will be writing here. And then the dates you are going to quote it. So all these elements comprises of title page. They all needs to appear on the title page. And moving on to the next page, we have acknowledgements. Acknowledgements, yeah, they are all personal feelings, okay, of a researcher or the candidate, undergrads, postgrads, whoever it could be, when you're writing acknowledgements for whatever reason. Sometimes it is, yeah, at this point we're discussing about places. Otherwise, even if you're drafting a book as well, acknowledgement is a personal narration. personal experiences, challenges, and to overcome those challenges which you have faced, who all helped you directly, indirectly. Sometimes it is your own pets to families. Okay, so how are people helping you across, helping you directly and indirectly, monetary, non-monetary, all this you're going to narrating acknowledgement by taking their name, their role, and how did they help, everything in detail or in brief. It all depends upon the researcher or the candidate who is writing. So it is more or less a very informal and personal way of thanking all those people who helped in this journey of research. Okay. And then comes the abstract page. What is abstract page? It is a gist of, if I had to explain in my classroom, see, I will explain like this. Abstract is, your complete journey of researcher in one page, in 300 words. If you are asked to write, suppose 100 words, how you started, 100 words, how, what all challenges you faced, in 100 words, what is the outcome? That's it, over. Abstract. That's how you're supposed to write. If you're asked to write about 1 page, 2 page, divide the whole journey, the story of yours. You end up watching some YouTube stories of entrepreneurs, small, micro, their challenges, you read and learn, right? Like that, abstract is written. Abstract is a gist, a very brief summary of the whole research work which is being done by the research, from starting to conclusion. Okay, then what should it include while writing? Focus on the main objective of the research, methods which you are applying, summarize the results, conclusions, and don't focus on writing again the introduction, because already you are covering it in the introduction page. Okay, that is the second page. So hence, let us not focus again in writing, including the same facts that you're showing in introduction. So excluding that, you can just write your brief story. Okay, brief story of your whole experience. Then comes the table of contents. Now for this, there are tools which you can take help of. That is MS, Word, auto-generated, content in a very clear and with the consistent headings are provided. So you can take the help, or otherwise manually also you can do it with the help of a Word document. You can just keep on typing one after the other, looking at the page number. So goes in hundreds of pages. Okay, so all those abbreviations, maybe it is your subject, that is your domain. Maybe if you're in computer science, there are several places you happen to use certain short forms, abbreviations. Now, since that's your subject, that's your book, okay, fine, you know it. But what about tomorrow when your book is available in the public domain, and some other combination, some other discipline people are trying to refer your book? At that time they find difficulty in the abbreviations to understand, and mostly end up understanding wrong meanings. So hence it is recommended that in thesis there should be a page which includes all abbreviations which are used across the thesis. Okay, the abbreviation short form, hyphen, complete full form. This will give an idea to the researcher who doesn't belong to that domain, or say, though they belong, they do not know what is its full form. So this will help such people. And besides, it needs to be alphabetically placed. Okay, it should be alphabetically placed. That means the abbreviation should start with A, B, C, D order, so on and so forth up to Z. Okay, well, very known abbreviations need not be included, can be excluded. On the same lines, as it is suggested for abbreviations, glossaries. What is glossary? A list of special terms which are used in the whole thesis. So firstly, you have to identify what are the various terms which are used. Okay, and those terms in one line or at the most two lines, meanings should be given. And all this again should be in the alphabetical form, order, that's starting with A to Z. And sometimes you do not know your boundaries as to the coverage. How many do I write, etc. You first list out all those which are there in your thesis, and followed by what you can do, you can discuss with your supervisor, showing them the list, complete list. Out of that, they may screen certain terms which are not so required to be put up on a glossaries. Okay, so that way you can filter the big list with the help of your supervisors. Otherwise, you can simply go ahead with the list what is, what has been designed by, drafted by you. Okay, so glossary is special terms used in the thesis, and for that, meaning is given, so that tomorrow anyone who is referring, reading, trying to understand your work will understand it with meaning of what you wanted to quote there. Okay, next comes the main part. Main part includes introduction.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am, can you just move the slides, ma'am? The slides are not moving.
they're not moving. Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
I am at this introduction.
Yes, ma'am.
One second. Now introduction is on. Establish
Yes,
your
ma'am. Yes,
research.
ma'am. It is on. It is
Provide.
on, ma'am. It is on.
Is it moving, ma'am, to literature review? Next slide.
No, ma'am. It is an introduction slide, ma'am.
Okay. Now is it moving? Introduction to literature.
Yes, ma'am. It is moving now, ma'am. It is moving.
Okay. Okay. I can continue, Jayalakshmi ma'am, for next 5-10 minutes. Can I extend?
No issues, ma'am. No issues, ma'am. No issues, ma'am. You can extend, ma'am.
Yeah, because there was disturbance during, and so I had to.
Not an
Anyways,
issue, ma'am.
all right. Thank you so much. Introduction. Okay, so in introduction page, which goes up to sometimes 3 to 5 pages, what do you actually write? It consists of the whole background of information about the research work, the scope of your research, the relevance, how important it is, how significant it is to take up such research, followed by the questions that has emerged out of your understanding, and then drafting of objectives, and the whole structure of your proposal is been introduced with facts and figures. Okay, so introduction page consists of all these elements. Remember, background, relevance, that is how important it is, researchable questions, objectives, structure of your complete work, how are you going to present it, a layout should be projected under introduction. Then comes the literature review. Now, as I mentioned some time back as well, literature review or systematic literature review are, something which anyone which has been adopted by the candidate, okay, either at PG or scholars as well, anyone. So when you are doing one, please do mention it with the title, what it is, okay, and then followed by present your work. And as I said, the thesis work, it is above 100 plus reviews that you are supposed to do. For postgrads and undergraduates, we end up asking for not beyond 20. That itself is a big number for them. But for thesis, like PhDs, etc., it goes above 100. So all this complete, reviews that you are doing one by one in a proper order, like date wise, etc., you have to present, okay, reviews. So ensure that whatever literature reviews you're collecting are from proper sources. Here, I recommend you to follow the Scopus website, which is available for free access, LC UGC, Care One list. All these places you can see many Shodh Ganga. It is a reservoir of all the PhD thesis. So from proper sources, if you obtain the literature, it will give you more meaningful meaning and clear picture of what exactly you can do in such area. Are you going right, or is it of not so relevant? So all that, you will be in a position to know better if you get reviews from the proper sources. So the sources makes a lot of difference. If you just go on to Google and then start typing, show me some PhD works on so and so subject, it might show you, but they may not be reliable. That is the problem. So hence, the least one that you could refer is Google Scholar. Besides Scopus, UGC Care List, all these are various places where you can, go for good quality works. Collect them all and start writing the reviews. Decide whether you're writing a general review or a systematic review. Okay, that you have to be clear before you start writing your review. So you're going to present all your reviews in connecting order. Okay, connecting order. There should be a connectivity between the reviews from one to another. Otherwise, there if you develop a connection, it will benefit you as a candidate. A connection which is developed between the reviews will make you better understand as to what next you can do. Okay, what next you can do as a researcher. What is that area that they did not cover and you can do it? So that way you have to develop a connection, and then you have draw conclusions based on reviews. Yes, you have to see, check out their conclusions. You have to learn what they could do. Start with some aim. Could they attain that aim? That check you have to show in your review. So again, review is a personal, you as a candidate would be understanding, observing and rewriting, okay, their work in your words. So you are going to narrate their work in your own words. So that is literature review. And then comes a theoretical framework. Now, what is theoretical framework? Theoretical framework, it's all about the various, literature reviews. Besides reviews, the focus here is on the various theories which are available. Theories like, theory X, theory Z, Esberg's theory, Maslow's theory in MBA. Okay, likewise, mathematics you may be having theorems, okay, concepts, models, all this. So you have to analyze them. What is available? Okay, based on this availability, are they supporting you in order to develop a new work, or are they making any difference in what way? So such kind of understanding you have to develop, okay, in your approach. So for that theoretical framework page, and followed by content should be focusing on theoretical framework. And then comes the methodology. I briefly, yeah, anything.
No, ma'am, you can continue, ma'am.
Yeah. So methodology in means here refers to all those tools and techniques, approaches, where, when, who, how, the various challenges, methods that you happen to use, equipments, materials, all that you have to discuss and present. What all you did used. Okay, what was your approach? What all you used? So regarding that, what all you collected, you have to narrate it properly in the order. And while narrating, ensure that these contents are available. That's approach, method, details, tools, analysis methods, and obstacles also, challenges also. So this is your methodology, pages, and then followed by results. Now, under results, basically, what happens in results is the data which you are collecting, this data is projected in the form of tables and graphs. And below that, interpretations are written. Okay, but remember one point, while you're writing interpretations, it should not be subjective. It should be purely talking about the above table and graphs that you are visualizing. Okay, it should not be subjective. Don't intervene in the communication, what is happening through graphs and tables. Just put in the same words, graphs and tables, what they're communicating, write as an interpretation. Subject should not go with the interpretation, that will lead to wrong interpretations. Okay, then comes the discussion pages. Now, discussion pages, again, there are few elements that you can focus on. That is results, what you have projected just now, and expectations you started with. That is your objective, research aim that you happen to start with. How did you establish the complete model of your work? That's layout. Okay, the various influential factors, certain times you expected something and you ended up getting something in the form of results, which is annoying, which is not convincing. At times you trigger this kind of situation. So all that you can write. Why reason also you can mention under discussion. And then finally write the interpretations and acknowledge the limitations, what you couldn't do it in your present work. Conclusions are the list of pages which are followed by the discussions, wherein you focus on emphasizing the significance of research. Why research was carried on this area, on this domain, on this topic. How did it contribute? What are the future suggestions, etc. Okay, now in these pages, you should not never talk about the data, interpretations, or arguments. No, you should not. Instead, you should emphasize only on how important is your work, how much contribution is it giving you towards the society, towards a particular area, domain, etc. that you have taken up. And then how, good suggestions can be brought in by can be brought in and can be projected suggestions for future research, so that the future people who are interested in conducting research can focus on those lines. So that way you end up writing your conclusions. And then comes the last few pages, which are called or referred as end part. And end part is references. It includes references, and references are most commonly and popularly asked in the APA and MLA style. Okay, American psychological associations have given a format of how to write a reference. So that format people wants to, universities want us to follow. So all your references, whatever places, sources, links, etc., books, etc., journals, all those you have been referring, all that now you have to give a list that you have referred all this. So cite this will also help to generate the citations. Okay. And then comes the end pages list में appendices. Suppose there are certain things with great ambition you started collecting, but um, you didn't find any place to put them or insert them. Such documents, such tables can be numbered as appendix 1, appendix 2, and can be shown under this heading called appendices. Okay, so all the interviews that you have conducted, that rough work that you have noted down, their interviews, all that you can show it under the appendices. Is it clear? Okay, so moving on, if with this you end up complete thesis is done. Okay, first pages, middle pages, and end part. First pages includes title page, acknowledgements, abstract. Then we have table of content, list of abbreviations, glossaries. The main part, actual content, which includes introduction. Okay. And then literature review, theoretical background, methodology, results, discussions, and conclusions. This is main part. And then comes the end part, which includes references, appendices, etc. Okay, appendices can be n number, whatever you couldn't fit it into your thesis work, all those can be shown under appendices. All right. So now the platform is open for questions. If any questions, anyone, please do raise up and unmute, and you can ask